Right, so it's a Monday morning now, and I plan to have my cows in here probably tomorrow night or the night after. But I really want to wash just this section of roof down. It won't take very long to do. I have an extendable lance here. Now, I do get an awful lot of questions about pressure washers. There seems to be lads that are just addicted to pressure washers. And I never thought there'd ever be so many questions on it, but there is. Now this lance here that I use, I only use it the odd time. I bought it about over 10 years ago at least. Cheap version of probably a more expensive one you can get today. It's just an aluminium bit of pipe and a couple of little adjusters here, you can let it down. I'm not even sure how much this one adjusts out to. It's a right old distance. It's handy for doing spouting, fascia boards, things like that, and roofs like these. Fierce handy for that. The only thing it's not handy for is your back. It's quite hard on the back. I wouldn't like to use it for several hours in a row because you would find it on the pit of your back. It does come with straps and things when you buy these. Maybe the newer ones come lighter than what this one is, I don't know. The best thing I found is to get yourself just a stick of a brush and tie it to this and have the stick on the ground as you're using it, so you're not holding the weight of it, you've got something just going straight to ground. That worked. But that's what that is, just a simple old version. I don't even know where you get them now. I presume anyone who sells power washers would have something like that. But one thing I do get asked a lot about is actually this thing sitting over here, and that is snow foam gun. This thing, I think it's a Nilfast one. A Nilfast, you know the crowd that does hoovers? I'm nearly sure there might be a sticker on somewhere, but you can get these anywhere. They're not very expensive and they are very handy. If you're washing down machinery, cars, whatever it is you're washing, they're probably the simplest solution than buying a pressure washer that has that whole detergent built into it. A lot of them do, but they don't really work that well. This, cheap, works great. So how do you mount it? That's the next thing. Well, the two pressure washers I have, an electric one and this one here, a petrol driven one now. I used to have a PTO driven one before that. I always fit a quick release, which is easy done. If you go to any place, they'll show you the right fittings that you have to get. But you just push it forward and pull your lance straight off. You fit on your snow gun and away you go. I find that a great solution. So I put that on both pressure washers, the very same setup. It's just so easy to swap from one to the other. And that's it, job done. But one issue I have today is this lance I haven't used in a long time, and I have changed pressure washers since I bought this. And I have to set this one up now to suit, because this end here that comes out of the lance, that little hole there, I'm after pulling a pipe out of it, and it did not fit up to the pipe that I have for this pressure washer. So I had to look through my drawers and things, not my own drawers, the drawers that I have up in the shed. That'd be a bit weird. But I didn't have the bits, and I had to do a run to get the bits to make it work, so that you can just hook it on very, very easily. So we're going to do a wee modification on actually the lance itself and make it that it's quick release, and that way you can just hook it off and hook it onto that, because speed when you're doing these jobs means that you'll use it more, put it that way. So the first thing you have to do is take this off. Hoping it'll come off without having to open up the whole lance. Move this core back a little bit. There we go. Right. Put a little bit of plumber's tape on that, ordinary PVC tape. Then we're going to put this by on in this place. There we go. So that's our female end on. Now we just have to put on our male end. So he should just screw in there. Alright, now this should just fit in like that. And that is it. That is as simple as it is. I pop this body back on. There, and there we have it. You have a quick release lance now. Next thing we have to do is actually make this guy here that he will plug in there into that. Now, originally, this is the fitting that came out of here, and that fitting obviously won't go in there. So we have to change that, and we already have changes. So here's the stem that goes up in here. Now, I have to make a wee modification, but it's quite simple. This end here doesn't allow this sleeve to go up through it. It's just a little bit on the big side. The original one was a wee bit smaller, so I'm just going to run the drill around that there, widen it out, and then this here will screw back up. This should fit in now. Yeah. There we go. So now when we change from our other lance, we can just pop it straight on here. That's it. It's done. It's ready to work. No messing about. Routing a train up with nuts and bolts. It's just straight on and away it goes. So we're all set up now. I have my hat on, and the reason I have my hat and my waterproofs on is when you're doing this, when you pressure wash with this extended lance, it hits the galvanise in front of you, it goes straight up in the air, hits the one above you, and right back down top of your head. So no matter what angle you go at, every bit of it comes straight down on top of you. That's the disadvantage. But I'm going to tackle into it now. I wasn't going to spray on any foam, but actually I might just spray on some foam on it, lead into it, let it sit for probably 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. Make it back and it should just wash off, run off nice and easy. It's just condensation from animals sweating and things like that. It builds up like an iron mould. And every 2 or 3 years I just wash sections like this down. It just brightens everything up. Another thing as well, this pressure washer is around about 3000 psi. But I have to turn the pressure right down because that there, as soon as you'd put it up, it would just jet back on top of you. You'd never be fit to hold it. So we have to turn it right down, and then we'll work our way up to see what we can handle. Before I do start as well, if you can see right up there in the corner, do you see the straw and stuff wedged in around the beam? That comes from the nesting of the blackboards that comes into this shed. Now, I'm nothing against wildlife or boards or anything like that, but it's nasty when they do it in the shed here. I have to stop that from happening because that stuff there will rot right out through the sheeting because it's jammed in behind the beams and I can't wash in behind there. So we were going to have to screw off that sheeting and get rid of all that straw that's jammed in there and try to stop them. Seal it or something with a bit of maybe expanding foam and stop them from doing that. I have the fuse board covered, I have the cameras covered, but I also have the power off. If you're pressure washing any shed, turn the power off. Although all the fittings in here are graded as being fully waterproof, pressure washers are a different story. They're not designed for that. And for the sake of your own safety, turn the power off and pressure wash then. Right, so that's it done, and you can see the difference that it makes. So definitely a job worth doing. That took me 40 minutes to do. And it would have took longer if I hadn't used the snow foam. It does help an awful lot. And again, it doesn't matter what brand you use. It's just something that would eat into it. Let it sit for 5-10 minutes and it just runs off. Anyway, one other thing I want to do with this pressure washer is add a reel onto it. I have a reel. The reel that came off my last pressure washer, I held onto it. But I want to add it onto this one. I don't always have to dump the pipes in different places to move it around. So if it was all in one piece, it'd make it much easier just to throw in a trailer and bring from one place to the other. So I'm going to have an attempt at that. So let's do that. This is going to sit around a bit here. 7 inches. Now this is the old bracket we took off that would have been on the PTO originally. It's just a mount for the PTO driven machine. I don't need it on this. So I'm just going to use it as a template to mark out the holes. So I'm up here in the workshop because it's brighter up here than the other one. The other one's quite dark. I have to kind of do something with the lights in it. But I have this all covered now. I have 3 coats on it and I have a sheet of galvanized sheeting on top of it as well. I can't really do much more. I have let the fuel out of it. Actually, it was empty fuel the last time I used it, so that was easy enough done. So what I need to do now is I need to grind an area here, from here to here, just to accept our brackets that we're going to put on both sides. And then just tear into building this bracket. It'd be a little bit awkward because I'm on my own here. Probably could do it with a set of hands just to hold it while I'm tacking it in place, but we'll do the best we can. Alright, so we're tacked into place. It looks fairly good by the eye. Way to put it. Wind up from this side. This side. In here, rips around and in there. Right, so that is that in place. Just a matter of bolting it in. I'm not going to paint it yet. I'm going to get it all fixed up first because the paint's going to take a couple of days to dry. So I can do that off camera. Right, so that's our hooked on. Now it's just a matter of grabbing our pipe. We have to take this hose off for starters, and we have to hook in a quick release here because this guy has to join in. I nearly think this guy has to go in here. Yeah. And then our other pipe comes in across here, laps in through that and is joined into that. I'm nearly 100% sure that's the way it works. So that used to just go in there like that, and that way you're ready to go. But now we need to put this guy in here instead. So we have to take this quick release off and put it on here. comes in here. I'm not positive now I'm doing this right. I'm really sure this clamp here holds the pipe. This goes around in a loop and goes in here. I think I need to put a 90 on there, do I? Right, I'm back in the workshop again. I'm in and out like a yo-yo. It's starting to clear again, but every 10-15 minutes there's a heavy cloud burst and that lasts about half an hour. So I'm better off probably finishing this job in the shed than standing out there, and it's getting cold now as well because we're expecting a storm to roll in tomorrow morning, which is Wednesday. So that's good news as well. Anyway, I had to run down to the local car shop and get this fitting here. But when this bike comes up here, there's a 90-degree bend that goes down into that pipe, and it allows the pipe to stay within this radius so that when you turn it, it doesn't catch, if you get me. I know that's sitting somewhere, and I know I hit it really well, hence the reason I can't find it. I wasn't able to get a 90-degree bend. I could only get this T here, and I might not have to change this. This might be 100%. So I need the plumber's tape it up, and what I'm going to do is just stick an end cap on here, a blank cap, and that leaves us with a 90. It should be the same thing. I'm right at this. There we go. In here. Yeah, that should close in that. There's the whale. I have to get this pipe to sit in right. There we go. Just sits like that. Right, well that's that done. I have it all painted there as well. Oh, brackets are all done. So it's ready now to go to work. That's going to be so much handier. I have another job that I do, actually 2 jobs that I do off the farm for someone else. And there's about 3 days power washing in it. And it's kind of the reason why I went from PTO driven to petrol. Because the PTO was just too far away to bring the tractor, and it took up a long time doing that. So this was just made such a difference in that job. But it is overall handier than the PTO pressure washer, just for moving around, the mobile version of it. Pressure wise they're basically the same. This is probably a little stronger than what our PTO Hawk washer was like. Now one little tip for you as well, I use Hammerite black paint on this. When you're going in asking for it, make sure you don't make a mistake and call it Hammerite paint. And apparently there's a big difference in the two. So yeah, Hammerite. But that's it, job's a good one. He is going for an operation in a couple of days. He has got cherry eye, so his inner eyelid is actually covering his eyeball. So he's booked in to get a little operation on that. It has to be sewn down or stitched down into place. Seemingly it's common on these chocolate labs. I don't know, I've never seen that before. So you can see the way it hangs down slightly. It just came all of a sudden. So yeah, he'll have to get sorted, won't you? Yeah. Anyway, job done. Let's go do something else.